This is the Ecommerce Braintrust, a podcast about building momentum online for established consumer brands. Join our hosts and their expert guests for high-level conversations about e-commerce strategies, trends, and innovations. Access our Braintrust and boost your brand's e-commerce potential.
Welcome to the Ecommerce Braintrust podcast. I'm Julie Spear, head of Retail Marketplace Services at Acadia. Today, I'm joined by two members of our retail media team, Jordi Beltran and Carlos Sastre, to discuss why effective bid management is important for sustained account growth and how it's changed over the years with the many developments in Amazon's ad ecosystem. Welcome, Jordi and Carlos. I'm really glad to have you here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
So this is both of your first time on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are excited.
Okay. All right. Well, you'll have fun, I promise. To get us started, Jordi, I'm going to share my first question with you. I am not, as you know, I'm not in the weeds every day managing ads for brands. And so people like me, I think sometimes the nuances of bid management can often get overlooked when talking about higher level strategy. And I know you have a lot of great info on how we approach bid management. But before we get to that, can you kind of give the lay of the land of why bid management is so important? I'm really interested in how it relates to budgets, since budget management is a topic every decision maker will understand as important.
Yeah, sure. So from our end, we believe that it's really important to have a clear structure and budget distribution. When I talk about budget distribution, it's to have a clear structure in terms of the campaigns that we are using in the account. So in that way, we can control here, as we say, the bidding system of each of the targetings that we are doing. We sometimes have a common issue with new clients where we see that they come with accounts that they don't have like a clear purpose or strategy behind their campaigns. So we believe that we need a focused approach on all these campaigns that they have in the account. When I talk about focused approach, I'm talking about having an objective in mind when we do any of the campaigns and having a clear structure. So for us, it's easier to do all the management as we have all the campaigns separated by objectives and with a clear structure. So that's why it's important for us in order to have a clear budget management to control where we are putting our investments at any time. And having a clear structure makes the life easier for us to really control our strategy at any moment, do testing, try new campaigns. We have the clear image of what's actually happening in the account.
Yeah, so the basis of it all, you're saying, is that clear architecture of the account, the campaign structure. And, you know, you can take a look at LinkedIn any day of the week, and you're going to see some hot takes around the perfect way to structure and build campaigns. Can you kind of walk me through what the high level philosophy is for your building of campaigns and why it's important that we follow our team at Acadia, that we really follow this architecture to help achieve brand goals?
Totally. So at the end, every client is different. Every client comes with a goal in a different momentum. So we need to be very wise in here in where we are putting our investment. And one of the things that we control the most in our site in Acadia, it's basically to understand how much we are investing in each of the objectives that we want to achieve. As objectives, we understand as an objectives, like for example, if we want to increase our ranking for different keywords, if we want to grow our position, for example, in different product page of competitors. So all these things are targetings and campaigns that we need to really understand how we are doing and how much we are investing and the returns of them. That's why it's really important to have the control of each of the campaigns objectives and the results that we obtain from there. For example, just as an example, we got some clients that they arrive with, for example, campaigns with hundreds of products in the same campaign without a clear strategy there. And there it's impossible to control like which products, which ASINs are appearing on the results, on the advertising, or for example, with hundreds of keywords in the same campaign. Here, what it does, all these things, is that we lose the control and the strategy of the advertising, and it's when the advertising just loses the sense of it.
Got it. So really the strong foundation of it all is the campaign structure. I think you've mapped that out really well. Well, once we move into the zone where we know a brand's budget and their priorities and goals, I know what the campaign structure might be to support those goals. Let's consider a scenario where you're inheriting a brand that's onboarding with Acadia. What are the telltale signs, aside from what you've described around the campaign structure with, hundreds of ASINs in one campaign? What are the other signs of an account that's suboptimal from a bidding perspective, and some of the impactful quick fixes you're looking to do initially? Carlos, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, I think here we really need to look at the CPCs. I think it's one of the main KPIs when we are talking about bidding strategy. If we look at their CPCs are really high, that could impact the ROAS efficiency and how the campaigns are doing in terms of getting the sale. So we really need to look at CPCs, try to compare that to category benchmarks that we have. Try to look also at the budget section in the advertising console, because in that area you can see when the campaigns are going out of budget. Maybe if you put a really high bid, the campaigns go out of budget really soon in the day. So you really need to control that bidding strategy in order to have the campaigns running for all the day. Also, bid modifiers. Sometimes we have seen some audits where they put 900% in top of search, and that could cause that the CPCs go super high and the efficiency is not there. So try to review all these type of things. We'll make sure that the bidding strategy is the correct one for each client, because of course there's different categories. Not all the categories are that competitive. So we really need to also take into account the categories that we are, the products that we have.
Well, that's a perfect segue to what my next question was going to be, which is around, are there certain client goals or strategies where bid optimization is more important than others? And is it sometimes driven by category?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And there's categories where or some keywords, not where the click could be $5 or $6 for each click. So in that sense, you really need to be more strategic on where you put the investment. If there's certain keywords where you want to rank, we can do what Jordi was saying, try to create ranking campaigns where we are trying to improve the organic rankings on these keywords that are really important for us, that are the key keywords for each product. And try to, have that balance between the CPC and the ROAS, and that also will drive the efficiency on the account.
Got it. Well, does this change also depending on the maturity of a brand or product in the market? I know a lot of brands come to us trying to understand what their ad budget should look like to break even into a given category, or not break even, but to break into a given category or market. So I'm curious how you approach this at the actual bid level when you're launching new products, Jordi.
Sure. So here, something that it's really important is to understand our metrics, our main KPIs. When I'm talking about that, I'm talking about understanding the conversion rate that we are having, where we can aim for, if we can improve maybe before some of the content of the product listing. So in that way, we can that can impact on our performance on the advertising side. So that's why I'm saying that it's really important to understand these metrics. It's not the same to have a conversion rate of 20% or 10%. Maybe on a conversion rate of 20%, we could be able to spend a higher cost per click. But in the opposite way, if we are having a lower conversion rate, then we have to be really careful with the bid management that we do, as we don't want to get the cost per click super high and make the advertising sales, or even the total ACOS, that it's something that we really touch in Acadia, to be controlled, so the advertising investment doesn't get too high and we even lose money in the business. So that's why it's really important to control our bids. Sometimes even Amazon give us some recommendations when we are targeting that, like the famous suggested bid that Amazon gives on the ads console. At the end, we have to understand that Amazon is a business. We need to be careful with the bids that we use. Sometimes they can suggest bids that are like really, really high. We saw bids around $20 sometimes when our product, it might cost around 20 or 25, meaning that we are going to lose money on that. And it can sound crazy that some accounts has these bids in the account, like these really high bids, but we found that in some new clients or audits. So yeah, just we need to think that at the end, as we are Amazon, it's a business. So we need to really take a look on the bidding system that we manage.
Yeah. Well, what are some of the bidding system that you manage? What are some of the bid optimization tactics that you really lean on heavily to optimize brands? And do each of you have some of your favorites?
Well, with Carlos, we've been testing the bid placement modificator. Basically, it's used for us, for example, for the ranking campaigns when we really want to be appearing high on the search results. So what it basically does is to increase our bid, the bid that we are using for each targeting. It applies a bid modificator increase in that case. So we bid higher and we make sure that it's going to be just a high bid in the case that it's going to be appearing on the top of search results, meaning the first positions on the advertising results. So that's something that we are currently using on some campaigns that we found that it's a great way to get better returns, as usually the top of search results usually has a better conversion rate CTR. So the performance, it tends to be better.
Carlos, are there any other tactics that you lean on heavily or that fall in the realm of your favorite for bid optimization when you're optimizing brands?
Yeah, I think one that is really important here, and it's something that you need to set up as soon as you create a campaign, is the campaign bidding strategy. So there's like 3 different ones. I normally go with down only. So in that sense, what you are doing is trying you put the bid, and that bid will only go down in terms of like how much you are paying for each click. That's the way to really control the bidding that you are putting in each keyword. There's another one that is up and down. In this one, the idea is that Amazon can change that bidding 100% up. So you could overpay for each click. You can use that one that is up and down for if you want to be really aggressive on some campaigns, and if you want to really understand which are the targetings that are working the best for the product. But it's true that my favorite and the one that I recommend always is down only, because in that way you have more control. You don't overpay for each click. You try to be more efficient. In terms of ROAS, I think is the one that will drive the best efficiency for the account. So I think down only in terms of campaign bidding strategy is the one to go.
Got it. Well, I have one more question for you guys. We've all kind of watched the evolution of paid search and paid social on other channels, and there's been a gradual trend toward more and more automation and goal-based bidding, like we've been talking about, similar to what we've seen on Google and its move to performance max campaigns. Based on what we've seen over the past couple of years on Amazon, what's your take on the general development of Amazon's advertising ecosystem and whether it's headed down the same path of automation versus manual control of bidding?
Yeah, so basically what we've seen is that gradually Amazon is getting better in terms of the algorithm and the results that we obtain. We always have to be, we have to take care of the results we are having, for example, on the automatic campaigns. But we've seen some clients that they are doing and they're having a really good performance on this type of campaigns. So also we've seen that Amazon, it's now lately this year taking some kind of objectives for campaign, meaning that you can put your ROAS goal for the campaign, that it's something that it's already existing, as for example in Google, where you aim for a ROAS or ROI in the case of Google of let's say 5 or X, and it would get the results to get on this like ROI of 5 that you are aiming for. So that's something Amazon is testing. We don't actually use this one as we have a little bit of lack of control, but the reality is that the future now, with all the like new formats, the EA coming really strong, it seems that Amazon is also aiming for this goal.
Excellent. That's a really clear, strong take on where we're headed in the Amazon ecosystem. This has been a great conversation. I know I personally have learned a lot more about all that goes into bid optimization and how important and actual critical it is to get it right. You could say it's a bit underappreciated in the realm of media management, but I appreciate you guys educating all of us on why it should be more appreciated. Thank you for your time today. It was great talking to you both.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Julia.